Yellowstone has officially taken over my emotional bandwidth. It's like the show thrives on messing with us. First, they made us wait for years to get Season 5, Part 2. Then, they said it would be the final season, only to drop hints about Season 6. And now, one week, we're gifted the most thrilling episode ever. And the next, we get an episode that feels like filler, except for a gut-wrenching twist at the end. Let's talk about Episode 12. Honestly, it was all over the place. The pacing was slow. The plot barely moved forward, and they hit us with a completely unnecessary death that shattered me. The only thing saving it from total disaster was the last 5 minutes, which hinted at some explosive events coming in episode 13. And it better deliver. It's the last episode before the big finale. But let's focus on Rip. Finally, he's back. In episode 12, Rip stepped up to get the ranch in order, and I loved it. He sold off the horses and prioritized the ranch's survival over everything else. Some fans were upset, wanting Rip to immediately start avenging Jay's death. But let's be real, Rip is responsible for so many people working on that ranch. Losing it would ruin lives, not just the Dutton legacy. It makes sense that he's laser-focused on stabilizing things before diving into revenge. Don't worry, though. Episode 13 is going to unleash Rip in full revenge mode. He's going to team up with Beth and Casey, ready to bring Jamie down once and for all. Honestly, I wouldn't be shocked if Rip even goes after Jamie's son. His anger is going to be off the charts. What do you think Rip's next move should be? Now, let's talk about Colonel. His death? Totally unnecessary. It didn't add anything to the story, and it felt like a cheap way to squeeze out some emotions. When he was on the phone with Teeter, confessing their love, I had this awful feeling something bad was coming. And sure enough, Call was gone. It's exhausting to lose characters we care about without a meaningful reason. Episode 13 will deal with the aftermath of Cole's death. Teeter, heartbroken, decides she can't stay at Yellowstone anymore. The memories are too heavy. She'll head back to the 4-6's ranch, which might even set her up as the lead in the new spin-off series. Could Teeter become the star of 4-6's? Only time will tell. Beth's storyline also took an emotional turn. She's stepping into the role of a mother again, and we see her valuing family in a way we haven't before. Her scenes with Rip and Carter are touching, but there's still unfinished business. Beth won't stop until Jamie is dealt with, permanently. Speaking of Jamie, can we talk about how reckless he's been? Every season, he seems to make worse decisions, and episode 12 was no exception. He panicked in front of detectives, acting nothing like an attorney general. At this point, it's hard to take him seriously as a rival to Beth. But here's the twist. Jamie will seek help from Casey. And while Casey appears to help, he'll actually be setting Jamie up for Beth's trap. It's going to be a masterful takedown. Casey, as always, remains the backbone of this season. He's the only one driving the plot forward. In episode 12, he confronted John's killer but didn't kill him. Why? Because Casey knows the real enemy is the person who hired him. He's playing the long game, leaving the dirty work to Beth and Rip, while ensuring his family comes first. And here's my theory. Episode 13 will revolve around John's funeral. It'll be the setting where all these tensions explode. Jamie's fate will likely be sealed here, and Rip and Beth will take control. But what happens next? Is Yellowstone really ending, or are we gearing up for season 6? There's so much left to unpack, and honestly, 2 episodes don't feel like enough. What do you think? Are we saying goodbye to the Duttons for good, or is there more to come? For updates and breakdowns of all things Yellowstone, make sure to like, comment, and subscribe. Let's keep this conversation going.